When a parent is angry and just goes crazy, what that does to children is they learn that they just can't trust you anymore. How can you build intimacy when you never know what this guy's gonna do? Screaming, hollering, raging. Some people are actually addicted to rage. Rage is a way people feel powerful to get out of their feelings when they don't know what to do. And it's very abusive to children. If you don't believe it, watch somebody scream at somebody else and just stand there watching. Then maybe you'll have a different perspective how you thought that was a useful way of communicating. Name calling, rage, it's all very abusive. And comparison. Listen, we are all these beautiful, precious, unrepeatable people. There's nobody else like you. Like, who are they trying to compare you to? That's why it's so important to be careful with shaming yourself with comparison, especially with social media. Be careful. When all this abandonment and all this modeling from shame-based parents happens, then that person can become shame-based as their identity. And you feel deep down that you're flawed and defective. You know, maybe you have a parent who is just in the shadow, just watching TV, didn't spend time with you, didn't give you love, attention, direction. Maybe you just had a dad that was just never there, and you give your time to what you love. So as a child, as a kid, when you're not getting time, you're like, okay, I get it, I'm not loved. This is why shame is the basis of all addiction. Because being inside of you, being you, is just too painful. Shame is self-rupture. And when you have a shame-based identity, this is how depression happens, addiction happens, chronic illness happens. I developed a chronic illness 2 years ago, and this is why I'm talking about this, because when shame is your identity, it messes with your nervous system. And that is the core of autoimmune disease, is a dysregulated nervous system, and shame is the number one emotion that dysregulates you. So a lot of times when people have a shame-based identity, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, abandonment, rejection, those things more than likely went on in their childhood. So when you feel emotions like sadness or anger, you feel shame. Even feeling too much joy, you'll feel shame. You become shame-bound. It is your identity. You're feeling it every minute of every day. And when you have shame-based parents, they're needy. And so whenever you're needy, they'll shame you. If you've come from a dysfunctional family, I can guarantee you the most pain came when you were the most needy. When you have a needy, shame-based parent, what happens when you are needy, they get angry. And they will shame you even more. So the most excruciating times will be the times when you were the neediest. If you are in recovery of anything, chronic illness, addiction, and try going to your parents to get support, if they haven't worked on their shame, they will be the roughest on you when you are the neediest. So you get all your needs shamed. This just happened to me. My mom told me I was needy because I wanted support from healing from this chronic illness. So there's a lot of us, when we feel needy, we feel shame. And for a man to be needy, oh gosh, you are so shamed for that. What some men need in their life is a father. And so many men feel worthless because their dad didn't want them. I felt worthless because my dad didn't want me. He was never around. And if you've never been loved by a man as a man, how could you love yourself? And how could that man love a woman? But in order to get well from this shame, you've got to come out of hiding.